Hi guys, annyeong, I'm Sarah and welcome to Soul Food Kitchen. Today we're going to make one of my favorite Korean noodle dishes. It's called japchae. Japchae is a mixture of vegetables, glass noodles and meat blended together in soy sauce. You might have seen some other recipe videos for japchae on YouTube, but the traditional way of making japchae is actually a lot of work and it's time consuming. You have to stir fry all the ingredients separately, boil the noodles, and then mix everything together. I'm going to show you a much easier way to make japchae, and I'm going to do it using a single pot. You can make this in less than 20 minutes and it's much healthier than the stir-fried version because it uses a lot less oil. You could fully eat this alone as a meal or even in place of a salad. The measurements in this recipe will make anywhere between 2 to 4 servings depending on whether you eat it as a side dish or a main. We're going to use 150 grams of glass noodles in this recipe. In Korean, this is called 당면. Glass noodles are made from sweet potato starch, so once they're cooked, they have this really elastic texture, which is totally different to the taste of wheat noodles. For the vegetables, we're going to use 2 shiitake mushrooms, fresh or dry, doesn't matter, a handful of oyster mushrooms, 1/3 each of red and yellow bell peppers, a handful of spinach, 1/4 of a carrot, and half an onion. As you can see, we're going to get a great range of colours in this recipe. For my meat, I'm going to use 100 grams of beef. This is chuck flaptail and I've cut it into long, thin strands like this. If you like, you can use lean pork, or even for a vegetarian option, you can skip the meat altogether. So the first thing that you want to do is to soak 150 grams of glass noodles in cold water. Leave the noodles to soak in the cold water for at least an hour. In another bowl, soak 2 dried shiitake mushrooms. If you can't find the dry ones, you can use fresh ones. I told you that the recipe takes less than 20 minutes, but I guess soaking the noodles and mushrooms, an hour and 20 minutes. While that's soaking, let's marinate the beef first. Half a tablespoon of soy sauce, half a tablespoon of sugar, half a tablespoon of sesame oil, minced garlic, sesame seeds, and some freshly cracked pepper. Add 100 grams of beef. Just get your hands in there and mix it all around so the beef really soaks in the flavors of the sauce. Next, prepare the vegetables. So I'm going to take the bell peppers, remove the seeds. And like I said, we're just going to use around 1/3. And slice them into long slices like this. Do the same for the yellow bell peppers. Slice half an onion, 1/4 of a carrot. With the spinach, wash the spinach clean and just remove the stalks on the bottom. That's all you have to do. So with your oyster mushrooms, just take the strands apart. And if you come across some really big ones like this, just tear them a few times so they're an even size. These are the shiitake mushrooms that I soaked. As you can see, they've grown in size. Squeeze the water out of them and remove the stalk in the middle. That's really tough because it's been dried, so we can't eat that. And slice the mushrooms. And the vegetables are ready. I think we're almost done here, guys. Once the noodles are soaked, drain the water. And if they seem a little long, they're soft now, so you can just cut them with scissors. Good length is anywhere between 15 to 20 centimeters. I'm adding a tablespoon of soy sauce and a tablespoon of vegetable oil, so any kind of cooking oil. I'm going to get my hands in there and mix the soy sauce and vegetable oil into the noodles. This is just going to give them a little bit more flavor when they cook. When you select a pot for this recipe, make sure that it has a good thick bottom. If it's too thin, the vegetables could burn and stick to the bottom of the pot. Line the bottom of the pot with the onions. Place the beef on top of the onions, followed by the mushrooms. shiitake mushrooms. Place just half the glass noodles on top. Next, add the carrots and place the remaining noodles on top of the carrots. Then the bell peppers, followed by your spinach. Then add 3/4 cups of water along the edges of the pot. Put the lid on. And we're going to begin by cooking it on medium heat. When the steam begins rising, I'm going to put it on low heat and cook it for another 5 minutes. While that's cooking, let's prepare the sauce for our noodles. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, and some freshly cracked pepper. And just give everything a good stir. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes and I'm going to turn off the heat and open up the lid and check to see if it's cooked. The bell peppers should be just very slightly limp. Yeah, and let's check to see if the meat has cooked. Grab a piece of beef. Yep, it looks like it's done. I'm going to add the noodle sauce that we made. And then all you have to do is mix everything together. I'm going to wear a glove. And if you've got sauce left over, grab the noodles and, wipe them in the sauce. It's still a bit hot. Just add a little bit more sesame oil and some sesame seeds. In Korea, we make japchae for birthday feasts and holidays like Chuseok. It wouldn't be a celebration unless you eat a plate of japchae. Can you see how pretty the colors are? It's like a rainbow of colors just sitting on top of the noodles. I am so freaking hungry right now. This is like super savory and the sesame oil produces this really appetizing aroma. Japchae is a mixture of texture, fragrance and flavor. Sugar and soy sauce blends into this flavorful sweet and salty sauce. Then you have the gentle fragrance of mushrooms and all of that is embraced by the savory fragrance of sesame oil. You also get an interesting range of textures, like the noodles, because they're made out of starch, they're really springy. And then the bell peppers, they're cooked just enough so that they still remain fresh and crisp. Then you also get that chewy texture of the mushrooms and the crunch of the beef. 맛있다. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me any comments. Also, check in again next time for more easy Korean recipes like this one and videos about what to eat and where to eat in Seoul. So I'll see you again next time. Bye! 다음에 또 만나요.